You are now watching Lesage, the best place to learn about competitive Pokemon TCG. Let's get it! Yo, what's poppin' peeps? Welcome back to the channel, Lesage here. Yo, today we're going to be covering over another new Brilliant Stars early deck profile, and that's going to be on Raichu V. This card definitely gives me Blacephalon GX vibes, and I definitely saw a lot of success with Blacephalon GX, so I hope that you like this take on the list. I've seen other builds that basically play Arceus V-Star. I kind of like playing this Flaaffy build, but it might be something where I introduce Arceus V-Star into it at a later time. So this is kind of like a Lightning Toolbox-esque deck. I do, again, want to point out that these are very early, and some of them might change drastically over the next couple weeks as I continuously test this format. In the description, there are links to the translations that I used here, and the list is also going to be in there as well. So that being said, let's jump into this deck profile, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and let's get it. Boom. Here's where we're going to have our Raichu V deck. And I think Raichu V seems really cool in this particular build. The goal of this deck is to be a lightning box deck. So having a variety of attackers, you can see that we have access to Raichu V, we have Raikou V, and we also have Zekrom. We also have Ordinary Rod to get them back in any kind of good measure or anything else like that. So I think that this build looks okay. I do think there's a world where Arceus V-Star might be pretty cool in a deck like this, and being able to accelerate energies to it and having an additional attacker. I'm not entirely sure where I'd put the space for it. It might be something simple like cutting a couple level balls, but I found this list was like relatively space conscious or very tight. So maybe cutting 2 level balls, a boss's orders, and let's say a Marnie would be really cool ways to add in a 2/2 Arceus V-Star. Other than that, I think the deck works out really well. And again, these are early lists, so this is what a Raichu core probably looks like for the most part. So when it comes to something like Raichu, Raichu is coming out in the sets, and it's a card that we haven't seen so far. So its first attack, Fast Charge. If you go first, you can use this attack on your first turn. So even if you're starting the game off, literally starting first, you can search your deck for a Lightning Energy and attach it to this Pokemon, so you're ready to use Dynamic Spark next turn at 60 damage times. So you may discard any amount of Lightning Energy on your Pokemon in play. If you do, it does 60 damage for each card you discarded. So if you discard 5 energies, you're doing 300 damage. 6 energies, you're doing so you're doing like a whole bunch of damage here. And I think that just being able to accelerate 4 energies with Flaaffy, get them back, and basically attaching a 5th energy per turn, you could be doing 5 energies, 300 damage, and 30 with Choice Belt per turn. That's not to say that every single turn you're going to be doing that. You might take a turn off and hit a Crobat and only discard 3, and you might not have all the Flaaffys. But these are really where you can build up a few energies in play and see a lot of success. So I think that's really cool overall, and having Raichu as a gigantic attacker seems awesome. And again, I base this list off of like what we've seen for previous Lightning Box decks and stuff like that. So again, if Arceus V-Star does find its way into this deck, I could totally see that happening. If not, I think this is a pretty cool deck too. Crobat's going to be there to be drawing cards. You have the Raikou. Raikou, you might not necessarily see it. If you look on the page where there's the translations, it shows that there's cards coming out in the Start Deck 100 set. So that's another set that our set is going to be comprised of. Raikou V is more or less a Lightning Spiritual reprint of Suicune V that we have from Evolving Skies. So it has the ability Fleet-Footed, which allows you to draw a card, and it does 20 damage plus 20 for each bench Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's. So you can kind of use this in between as an attacker as you build up Raichu energies on the bench and swing hard with that. So you don't necessarily have to attack with Raichu every single turn. You could definitely go attack with Raikou. I also included a Zekrom as a single prize card attacker, so you're able to go Wild Shock 130 and then paralyze your opponent's Pokemon, maybe giving yourself an extra turn to attack with the Raichu. And again, Flaaffy's going to be building up all these energies with the Dynamotor, so I think that works out really well for this deck. Like, I like the Pokemon I chose. It's just more or less getting it to that point of, will this deck work? Manaphy is going to be a way to protect yourself against Rapid Strike Urshifu, or a deck like Jolteon, you're just protecting your bench Pokemon. Because of its ability, Manaphy does have that ability that prevents bench damage. It's Wave VO. Prevent all damage done to your bench Pokemon by your opponent's attacks. Seems to be working out really nicely there. So if you do play against one of those matchups, that's going to be very good. We have Marnie at 4 and Research at 4. The Marnie doesn't necessarily matter as much, but the Research does matter to get the Lightning Energies in the discard pile for Flaaffy, so you can use Dynamotor on your opponent's Pokemon, or again on your Pokemon against your opponent's Pokemon, I guess, if that makes sense. You want to be able to use Dynamotor throughout the game, and that's something that Flaaffy decks have always struggled with, because Professor's Research was really one of the only discarding tactics. But now that we have Quick Ball and we just got Ultra Ball in the format, Ultra Ball being reprinted from Brilliant Stars, you can discard up to 2 cards from your hand, search your deck for a Pokemon. So now we don't necessarily have to play Evolution Incense and Level Ball and all that stuff. I think the Ultra Ball would work out great here, discarding Lightning Energies, getting it in play for Dynamotor. And same thing with Quick Ball, you could discard a Lightning Energy, get it in play for Dynamotor, so you're ready to accelerate energies. I did add a couple Level Balls in for good measure. I think it's going to be helpful to get out things like Manaphy, and both the Flaaffy and Mareeps are searchable, so you really want to be able to get those quickly to attack with Raichu. So again, more of a turbo Raichu build. Couple Switch and a couple Air Balloons, just so you have some mobility. After a Pokemon gets knocked out, you probably want to send up an Air Ballooned Flaaffy or an Air Ballooned Crobat, and then power up your Pokemon with Dynamotor, and then get all set up so you're able to attack with the Raichu, or maybe choose a different attacker if you don't necessarily have it. Moving on to the Ordinary Rod. Ordinary Rod's really there to get back your Pokemon. You can see that, like, we have some slim lines of things such as the Crobat, Raikou, Zekrom, Manaphy, or even if one of your Flaaffy gets discarded from a Professor's Research, you probably want to have some way to get them back, and this really is that way. Choice Belt is almost like free attachments when it comes to decks like this, so you are able to get that damage threshold up a little bit and discard less energies and really be a little bit more resourceful when it comes to it. And it could work out well with things like Raikou and Zekrom as well, to get yourself into a 2-shot range or get yourself into an OHKO range. So I think it plays really nicely into this deck. Like I said, Air Balloon, really because you're just trying to use Dynamotor, accelerate energies, keep your energies in play. Stormy Mountain is my stadium of choice for this deck. You want to probably get around Path to the Peak or maybe Collapse Stadium. I mean, Path to the Peak would really only be affected Fleet-Footed and Dark Asset, the Crobat and the Raikou, I should say. But Stormy Mountain does get around Collapse Stadium and New Stadium. That does limit your bench. The limitation of your bench is probably going to be difficult for a deck like Flaaffy that's so resourceful and needs really those extra bench spots. And I think that works out pretty nicely here. And I think that the energy mix seems like a good mix for this deck. Having a lot of energies, because you will have some in the discard, and you want to be able to have them early game to get them in the discard. And then just a couple of Speed Lightning Energies as extra draw. So I think in terms of a Raichu deck, this deck seems okay. Maybe adding Arceus V-Star could be better. I didn't necessarily want to throw all these Arceus V-Star deck profiles in everyone's face, but it could be better. So the cards that I would cut for the Arceus V-Star would be like 2 Level Ball, probably a Marnie, and probably a Boss's Orders. Those are cards that I think would be great cuts. It might be difficult to get that set up, but maybe it's just the better way to be playing this deck overall. I think only time will tell, because again, Brilliant Stars is so early, and I just learned that we might be getting some cards from our VMAX Climax set in this set, so it is really one of those things where I would look into that. So I don't know, it's really one of those things where you take decks like this and you want to be able to make them your own. We have seen successful decks in the past playing similar engines. Again, Blacephalon is a very similar engine, because you could almost replace Blacephalon with the Raichu, and you could replace Flaaffy with Neganatal, and those are really cards that, like, the deck should work in theory. And again, I do want to let everyone know that these are early deck lists. I can't stress that enough. So if there are any cards that you want to add into this deck, or if you do agree with me and think Arceus V-Star would be a really good addition, it's one of those things where I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Because I do get back to everyone's comments, I do look into it, and I do try to get everything as prepared as much as possible. So yeah, I really hope that this gives you some inspiration when it comes to building Brilliant Stars, that maybe it's another deck, or if you're wondering how a deck core of this looks, or how a deck list of this looks, I think that this is a great way to be playing it. But other than that, this is kind of a basic Lightning Box deck, and hopefully it works well for you. And that's what we got going on for this video today, peeps. Hopefully you enjoyed learning a little bit more about Raichu V, seeing how cool this card is, and really getting ready for the Brilliant Stars metagame. I look forward to covering more and more concepts on my channel, and really just making sure that everyone's prepared for this awesome new set. I hope to see y'all testing it sometime soon. That being said, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more stuff. Tomorrow we have basically it's Monday, so we have the top 10 decks coming out. We have the late night series, so stay tuned for all that. And again, I really hope that everyone enjoyed. Peace out and have a great one. I truly appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It means the world to me. And my goal with this channel is to spread my love of the game and knowledge with our entire Pokemon TCG community. If you haven't already, help signal boost this video to other Pokemon TCG fans by liking it, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Hopefully we reach our goals really soon. Check out this recommended video, and have yourself a great day. Thanks.